All right, let's get into the mailbag. It is Friday. Time to look at what some of you wrote to me over the last week. You can email info@davidpakman.com, leave a YouTube comment, leave anything, quite frankly. We might use it. First one, we sometimes start with something negative, I know. The first one today is from Jordan, who is doing the right thing. He's using the wrong your in hate mail, which is almost required at this point. You're a bozo, Y-O-U-R. Jordan writes to me, do you really think you have everything figured out? Joe Biden has been on hibernation since 2020, and this country is a power keg, not a powder keg. It's a power keg. Just once, I'd want to see you honest with your audience by putting on clown makeup and a skirt. If you love Biden so much, you should go to sleep every day. Well, you know, Jordan, I do go to sleep every day. I think sleeping is really important. And it is stunning to me how someone like this can hold any job, any job. Some of these folks could be your kids' teachers. They might be your accountant. Now, maybe Jordan doesn't have a job. I don't know. But let's move on. I was surprised, but I guess not really. You know, we launched the Spanish YouTube channel last week. Quite literally within minutes of the Spanish YouTube channel launching, I got my first hate Spanish email where Alexander wrote to me, comunista hijo de puta, sangre de basura, which means son of a bitch communist, trash blood. I have trashy blood, folks. Don't you say anything about my blood until you see my CBC results and you'll be stunned. No, listen, in all seriousness, the Spanish content is triggering people left and right, and it's wild. And I told you there's a lot of right-wing conspiracy theories targeted at the Spanish-speaking community, and that's why we've taken on this Spanish language dubbing project. Over 1,000 of you have already subscribed. If you've got friends, family, parents, cousins, whoever who wants to be getting content like what we create, but they would rather get it in Spanish than in English, tell them about davidpakman.com/Spanish. davidpakman.com/Spanish. Scott wrote in about my mustache and says, David, sir, so much commentary from viewers who are activated and triggered by any changes to the show, set background, guest hosts, your attire, etc. Please count me in amongst those who are eagerly tuning in to watch the progress of the mustache. Looking better every day, my friend. That's Scott in New York City. Well, thank you. You know, I was going to start it only as a goof, but I'm sort of enjoying the mustache. When people see me who haven't seen me for, a few weeks or a couple of months, I notice that they do a double take, but they don't want to bring it up. And I'll immediately say, it's the mustache, right? And they can't help but say, yes, it is the mustache. This is a satirical mustache, to be completely clear, but it is generating interest and intrigue. And that is really more than I can ask for. So I'm going to keep it going. The shaving has much improved. It's all going really, really well is what I would say, Scott. So we're going to keep it going for the time being. Okay. A couple emails about my interview with Patrick Bet-David when I was down in Florida a couple weeks ago. Craig wrote in about the PBD approach to debating. Craig says, you talking about him was the first I'd heard of him, and he just turned me off. He would ask you a question that I'm sure you would have a straightforward answer to, but then he would immediately present an analogy that he feels would trick you into answering how he would like. Then when you ask him straightforward questions, he wouldn't answer. Instead, he would ask, where are you going with this? Thinking you are trying to trick him into saying the wrong thing, and he doesn't want to get beat at his own game. Also, his, come on, you're a smart person, is very condescending. I'm curious your thoughts. Thanks. That's Craig from Maui. Yeah, Craig, you're right about everything you're saying. I thought it was super interesting. Perfectly nice guy, and we chatted very briefly before and after the show and all of it, and perfectly nice guy. But I did think that it wasn't necessarily bad faith. It did seem in a way that he was just so careful not to fall into any kind of a trap. Like when I said to him, when you think about the tax rate you're willing to pay, like, are you willing to pay more if you get more for your taxes? Like, if it included college and healthcare, would you be willing to pay more than if it didn't? It really wasn't a trick question. It was trying to open a conversation about what we value. And he was saying something like, well, I don't think we're spending it the right way. And I'm like, that's not the question I'm asking, sir. Craig's assessment is pretty spot on. And maybe I will have another opportunity to try again. Renee also wrote in about the interview with Patrick Bet-David and said, hi, David, I'm listening to your chat with Patrick Bet-David. I've never heard of this guy, but his arguments remind me so much of trying to have a conversation with my stepdad, who's good-hearted, but so exasperating. I'm not sure if I can make it through this whole thing, because when you try to pinpoint one issue, he throws 10 other random examples and says, well, what about this? What about that? Like lending a bike to someone is the same as centralizing how we fund healthcare. It's so hard to get anywhere with people who have this worldview, but thank you for trying. Yeah, this was a very common sort of email I got feedback-wise. I think the most interesting outcome of the Patrick Bet-David interview is that usually the home team has a huge bias to the host. So for example, I would expect that when I upload my interviews with PBD, the comments would be mostly positive about me, and they were. And I would expect that on his channel, the video we did would be mostly positive about him. Interestingly, tons of his viewers on his channel said in the comments, you were unnecessarily hostile, this didn't go well for you, Pat, et cetera, et cetera. The fact that that was even a noticeable portion of the feedback from his audience is very interesting. I don't know what it means, but it's certainly very, very interesting. And I would be interested in doing it again. Nolita wrote in and says, are you able to post a link on the main webpage for the Spanish broadcast? I can't find it. David said it quickly. I didn't catch it. I'm going to say the link again with total peace and love. davidpakman.com/Spanish. As of this moment, we have breached 1,500 subscribers on the channel, and we got our first video with over 1,000 views on the Spanish channel. It is extraordinarily exciting, and we're going to be putting in a bunch of different resources into the project because I think it is so important. Ron wrote in about the Ohio train derailment. And Ron said something I've been seeing everywhere. I've been seeing it on Twitter. I've been seeing it on Reddit. Ron says, David, can you provide coverage of the Ohio train derailment? I feel like this is a major story that should be getting more coverage, but isn't getting the attention it deserves. I genuinely don't understand why I am seeing this comment everywhere. There's a narrative that's developed that nobody's talking about the train derailment. I see it everywhere. I go to NewYorkTimes.com. It's about the train derailment. I go to Washington Post, train derailment. Fox News, train derailment because they want to criticize Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden about it. Reddit, all over the train derailment. Twitter, all over the train derailment. Independent, media, we've already done a number of clips about it, and so have many of our colleagues. I am not seeing that there isn't coverage of this. And I don't know what people, it's happened in other cases where there's a story that's like everywhere, and you see people saying, it's not getting any coverage, and yet everybody is talking about it. I don't really know where that's coming from. I'd be interested to know more. And if you have any sense of why that narrative is being repeated, let me know, because I am seeing coverage about every aspect of this. What caused it? The controlled burn, Mike DeWine, the chemicals. Is the water safe? Is the air safe? Is the soil safe? Is this Pete Buttigieg's fault or not? Is this Joe Biden's fault or not? The Obama regulations that Donald Trump rolled back. I'm seeing every aspect of the story covered extensively, and it is an important story, so we should be seeing that. But I'm just not seeing the lack of coverage. Let me know if you know where that's coming from. We have such a great bonus show for you today. You can sign up so quickly at joinpakman.com. If you want to pay the normal prices, that's great. I believe that they're eminently reasonable. $6 a month, $60 for the year. If that strikes you as high for your financial situation, no problem. I have a coupon code for you That code is 24, starts now. The number 24, starts now, no spaces, okay? 2024 really does start right now. We're in the middle of it already. Sign up, you'll get the bonus show, the commercial-free audio and video feeds of the show, invitations to our members-only town halls, and access to the soundboard. Obama. Yeah, we have a soundboard in the members section of the website for our members. Check it out. We will see you on the bonus show momentarily.